is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of
Hey guys, welcome back to the Fit Life Over 40 channel. I'm Roosevelt, and today's video we're gonna talk about body fat. You saw the title. You want to know if you can spot reduce body fat. And I'm gonna go through a few things before I answer that question. So stay tuned. But first, let's talk about body fat. Body fat is not the problem. The problem is too much stored body fat. Some body fat is good. You need it to survive. Body fat is stored energy in case of food scarcity. Our ancestors at one time would go days without eating. Without that body fat, they could not have survived. So having some degree of body fat is a good thing. It's just when you have too much, it becomes unhealthy. It has a lot of negative health side effects. It leads to obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and a slew of other negative health benefits. So keep in mind that body fat is not your total enemy. Now, to reduce body fat, there's really only one way to do that, and that is a calorie deficit. You can't drop body fat without a calorie deficit. Now, it's the surplus of calorie is what's accumulating the body fat. And it's a lot easier to get into a calorie surplus than what you may think. Now, the average daily diet supposedly is 2,000 calories. If you've ever read a nutrition label, it'll always say based on a 2,000 calorie diet. But that's not totally accurate. That's not totally true. And the reason I say that is because everyone's body composition is a little different. If you're obese, a 2,000 calorie diet could still be a surplus. If you're a smaller person and your daily activity is sedentary, which means you don't exercise, you have a desk job, you have very little activity, that could also be a surplus of calorie. It comes down to how much muscle you have, how fast your metabolism is, genetic. There's so many other factors that go into that 2,000 calorie diet. What you need to know is, are you hitting a surplus of calorie daily? And this is very easy to do. Just because you eat until you're full doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to maintain your current body size, if that makes sense. What you put into your body makes a difference, especially when it comes to calories. Now, a healthy, balanced meal that has, let's say, 4 ounces of protein, vegetables, and a fat source like a half of ounce of almonds. Those calories are going to be a lot different than if you sat down and ate half of a Domino's pizza. Little different. Yes, you can still get full on both, but the calorie intake is going to be a lot different. And that's the point. That's what it comes right down to. Calories in versus calories out is just that simple. Now there's 2 kinds of fat, or there's 2 kinds of obesity. And it varies by gender. One is android, which is more common in men, and the other one is gynoid, that's more common in women. Now, the android obesity in men is commonly found in men, and it kind of determines where your fat is going to be stored. We all store fat a little differently, but for men, it's usually in the midsection and upper chest area, which makes them look a little bit more round, apple-shaped, versus the gynoid version for women, which they'll usually store fat in their hips, thighs, and butt, and breast. Now with women, the older they get, this could change once they go through menopause. They can start to store fat in other places. Now, your big question is, can you spot reduce fat? And that's a yes and no question. The more blood flow and muscle you have in certain areas, the less fat you'll store there. But this isn't 100% either, because some of it is actually determined by your genetics. If your parents and grandparents, that's why I always say, take a look at them, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of what you're going to look like. If your mother stored fat in her stomach, legs, butt, and breasts, chances are those are the genetics you have. That's where you're probably going to store your fat. You can do crunches until you're dead. If your diet is not on point, it doesn't matter. Now, there's another thing that's called visceral fat or whatever. And this fat is the easiest to get rid of because it's stored between the organs. It's fat that you don't see. Once you start dieting, that's the first place the fat usually starts to come off. You'll see the numbers on the scale going down. Some of that is water, and some of it is the fat that's stored in between your organs. And then there's the superficial fat, which is the fat you see that's stored on the outside. This is the fat that's stored right underneath your skin. That's the fat that you can see covering the muscle. That fat usually comes off last. So the biggest thing is you have to get your diet right. You have to hit a calorie deficit every day. Burn more calories than you take in, forcing your body to go into your fat storage to get rid of the body fat. So in all, it's kind of a split decision. The more muscle you have, the less fat you'll store doesn't mean that you still can't get fat because you have a lot of muscle. That's not true. You can still get fat if you eat too many calories. If you're hitting a 500 calorie surplus every day, which is easy to do, be prepared to gain 1 pound every week. So controlling your diet is huge. You have to control what you eat. Now, once you're lean and you have very little body fat, it's very easy to maintain that with your diet. Even if your training isn't 100% on point, you can still stay pretty lean if your diet is on point. Diet is everything. You can't out-train it. There is no magic pill. It's all work. Like, you can maintain a nice physique on diet alone, which tells you that you have to control what it is that you put in your mouth. It's just that simple. So to keep it simple, like I said, it's a yes and no. You can't really spot reduce the fat once it's there. You have to diet it off with a calorie deficit. Once it's off, you can control how much body fat you put back on. Just control your diet. I keep saying diet because it's the most important part. The training is the fun part. Breaking the muscle down, pumping it full of blood, creating those micro tears so it can come back bigger and stronger and more dense. That's the fun part. But the diet is the key to everything. So that's going to be the video today. I wanted to keep it short and as simple as possible. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions on anything, leave a comment in the comment section below. You can follow me on Instagram at Harley Davidson or nothing. I want to thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. I got a lot more videos coming. It's diet season. I want to see everyone lean and on the beach and looking good. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at the next video.